I'm not so sure anyone's going to be able to see this on camera, but we've got a mite infestation on our birds. So we're baptizing them in permethrin in order to wash the mites off. So what we do is we get their bodies fully submerged in this permethrin solution for 30 seconds, massage the permethrin down to the base of their feathers so they get fully soaked, and then dunk their head 3 times. 1, 2, 3. You don't want to hold their head underwater because they're most likely just going to drink and or drown the water. So after a good 30 seconds, you help get some of the water off with your hand, put them back in the cage. So we've done this one other time other than this season. When we first got the birds, they were all covered in mites when we washed them, and the mites have seemed to reestablish themselves on the birds. I don't know if it was because we missed one of the birds or didn't do well on it. They brought the mites back in full swing. 1, 2, 3. But yeah, we have a significant problem right now. So much so that we've been bringing chicks in, and the chicks have been dying within a matter of weeks because they get mite infested. Mites can come in lots of different ways. They can come in on native birds that have them under control, put them on these birds, and then they just get out of control. There are certain types of mites that come in on the rice hulls. I'm not sure if it's the same ones that bother the chickens or not. That's if you watch when we put the rice hulls down, the chickens are always pecking through trying to find ants or mites or anything to actually eat out of the rice hull. Sometimes they eat the rice that's left in the rice hulls, but yeah, so 1, 2, 3. This is kind of part of maintenance of owning a chicken farm. A lot of people don't recognize how much maintenance goes into a chicken farm. The birds definitely don't appreciate it right now, but till tomorrow, whenever there's no more bugs biting them, they'll recognize that this was a worthwhile investment of their time to be dunked underwater. And it'll be a good investment of my time as well, because it'll help the egg production to go up significantly. We've got enough permethrin here to do 20 more birds after I do these 4. So we'll show you how we mix up the permethrin and how much water we use and how we examine the chickens here in a moment. All right, so we'll dump out this water now. And add some more. It's nice we got this electric pump in our well, so all we have to do is flip the switch to fill a bucket. We don't have to carry it far. Well, you got to flip the switch and flip the valve. All right, so now we'll just take one of these sachets, which is 10 milliliters, and open it up. I was using my teeth the other day, then I thought, this kills bugs. I probably shouldn't be letting it get anywhere near my lips. So, but yeah, they call it washout here, but it's permethrin piperylene dioxide with D-pentanol. So it's a mixture of things. It's got tea tree oil to keep mosquitoes away too, so that's beneficial, especially whenever the birds are damp after they got bathed. The mosquitoes tonight will be bothering them, so it's beneficial to have that tea tree oil. Let's grab one more bird, or 10 more birds rather. So yeah, we gave a little bit of backstory earlier in today's vlog about my wife and I and our history, but we'll give a little bit of backstory about my family and their history in the States. So my father, he's a Russell. His father's wife was a Hayward, so that we got Haywards and Russells on one side, and then it's Evans and Metzgers on another. So that's my family names or whatever that make up my composition. Most of us are Eastern European descendants. I got some Jewish and Native American in my blood. Not enough Native American to be significant though, but yeah, Jewish, German, Irish, Native American. There's a couple other ones in there. My brother did a DNA test and it came back with pretty interesting results. A lot different than the heritage that my parents taught us when we were kids. And I don't know how much of that is ancestry getting DNA wrong, or just because my grandparents came from certain countries didn't mean that they were actually 100% German or 100% whatever country they came from. So this one is filthy. Lay down. But yeah, so that's a little bit of a backstory of my heritage. But both my parents grew up in central Pennsylvania on farms, and I was born on a farm in central Pennsylvania in 1999, a home birth. My parents decided after having a couple kids that there was no real need, 1, 2, 3, that as long as the pregnancy wasn't a high-risk pregnancy, there was really no need to use doctors. They had gotten the birthing process down and felt like it was time to try to do a home birth. So I was the first home birth in my family in 1999, born on a farm in Pennsylvania. So my birth certificate doesn't say Altoona Hospital like the rest of my siblings, but instead it says Martinsburg, because it was a home birth. But at any rate, we stayed in Pennsylvania till 2012 and kept the property that I spent all my life on until 2022, I think it was, whenever they wanted to find up selling the family farm. But yeah, so we are Pennsylvania my parents were Pennsylvania residents most of their lives, and I grew up in Pennsylvania before we came here in the Philippines when I was 12 years old. Then when I went back when I was 17, I went to Florida, so I became a Florida resident after that. Then spent again some time in Pennsylvania, and then ultimately ending my time in the States with a Florida residency again. So I've had multiple jobs. I've had delivery jobs, I've had farm jobs, I've had construction jobs. It's really been quite the experience in my life. I think there's been 30 different people who have given me a paycheck for doing a task or working for them for an extended period of time. I started off working on a farm when I was 13 and then moved to a dairy where we did milk bottling and ice cream and things like that. But yeah, had a lot of work experience, a lot of life experience. 27 years old now. Got the wife and kid here in the Philippines. So that's a little bit more about my backstory. I could probably talk for a couple full-length videos about my backstory, but really I'd like to talk about the future, what the future brings here for the farm and for my family. So because my baby is mine, and that makes her able to become a dual citizen. So over the course of the next month or two, we're going to go on a journey, 1, 2, 3, to get my baby an American passport. And then after that passport comes through, we're going to go and file paperwork for my wife, Jayanne, to get a spousal visa in the States. I just got my 13A visa here, so they know that the Philippines government knows that I'll be coming back, and hopefully that'll be helpful towards my wife getting her spousal visa, because I have one here. They'll know that we'll be back and forth, and that there's no reason that they should decline the spousal visa. But yeah, so that's the journey for the year. Also, our journey is to get this farm of 200 birds up to 1,000 birds by the end of the year. It seems like a really big task to multiply your operation by 5, but chickens are, unlike most animals, take 45 days to lay an egg, and then 10 days to sit on an egg. Yeah, it takes 45 days not to lay an egg, but what I mean is from when the first egg is laid to whenever you receive chickens is no more than 45 days, because they'll lay about 15 eggs most of the time, and then sit on them for no more than 30 days. 21 days is how long it takes for a chicken to fully mature, but sometimes they're not sitting on them fully for 72 hours because they're trying to get more eggs. But at any rate, within 45 days of when a chicken lays its first egg at 6 months, you can have them reproducing again. And then it's another 6 months and 45 days once that one lays its first egg. So the way chicken math works is, as long as you can keep those 15 birds alive that were eggs or whatever, then you can multiply your herd exponentially. So we had 3. I think this is actually this is the 11th bird or the 10th bird. I'm not sure. You're only supposed to do 10 per bucket, so we're gonna dump this bucket and do one more. But yeah, chicken multiplication and chicken math is really good. You also got the odds of 50% of your offspring being males, which is honestly a positive that most farms don't recognize. Having the ability to harvest 50% of your birds after 100 days, because that's about how long it takes to fill out a bird that's not a 45-day broiler. But yeah, after 100 days to fill out the bird, then you can harvest the males for meat purposes and just keep all the females. Now, at first, we're going to be keeping quite a few males because we need to have as diverse of genetics as possible. So we're going to keep a couple males around. As of now, we have 5 males and 20 hens. That's our native population. Our goal is to bring our native population of birds to 100 birds before we'll start selling any female birds for as full-grown laying stock or whatever. But as far as the white decalbs go, the plan is to get to 1,000 females for laying in a different barn. Currently, we do have, 50 birds that have come out of the incubator so far that have made it to a substantial age. We can show you some of them here in a moment, but I imagine 50% of those are going to be males, and we need those for breeding more of our females, because we have 5 males here at the farm, but none of them are decalbs. So the fact that we have 50% decalb males now that are growing up will be ideal to complete the goal of the year to get 1,000 birds. So out of those 50 birds we have there, if we have 25 males, we'll start to be able to breed 100 males a day, or females a day. out of those 25 males. And that means within 10 days, we'll have enough eggs. We'll have 1,000 eggs. We'll have to get 2,000 eggs, so it'll be a couple more days, but because obviously half of those are, again, going to be males. But that'll make for a really good harvest. 1, 2, 3. A really good harvest of chickens if we have to get rid of 50% being males and we had 1,000. So that'll more than pay for the incubating time and feed and all the other things to have the other birds that are layer hens as a breeding stock. Now, most industrial farms wind up sexing the males out at a day or two old and euthanize them because they say that with breeding stock layer hens or whatever, it's not profitable to feed they don't put on enough weight for the amount of feed that they eat to be worthwhile to raise for meat. But we're out here to prove all of the industrial farms wrong. I'm sure that it's not going to be as profitable as raising 45-day chickens or as profitable as raising layer hens that will give you an abundance of eggs at some point, but we're going to turn a profit. I know it's possible. We got to do things a little bit different than how industrial farms are doing it, but we're going to set a new standard here in the Philippines for farming, and it's a big goal. But the plan is by every year to have 1,000 new layer hens in our operation with a new barn every year for the next 10 years. I feel like this year it's going to be very hard, but then the next years after that are going to be substantially easier. We're even going to be able to, probably by year 2 or 3, start selling ready to lay chickens and make a whole nother business out of just selling the birds that are ready to lay, because we'll be able to have so many chickens. But all that is just a pipe dream and a goal for this farm. So stay tuned. I'm pretty sure I just busted an egg inside of her, which is potentially very dangerous. I'm always very gentle with them, but I did just hear it was that, or she just had a foot muscle crack. We'll see how well she's doing tomorrow. It very well could have just been a toe crack, like popping a knuckle or whatever. But yeah, I've been nothing but gentle with these. But sometimes mistakes do happen. But 1, 2, 3. So this is a 6th bird. It's the 6th or the 3rd. 1, 2, 3. No, this is the 3rd bird. So we'll have 5, 8. Yeah, we'll have to take 2 from the next row, but that's fine. Up. Just go down in there. I know water isn't your friend. You don't want to be cold, but this is good for you. I'm surprised none of them have laid any eggs in here yet. They say if a chicken's egg bound, you put them in a bath of Epsom salts, and it helps relax the muscle and release the egg. This has got no Epsom salts in it. We could do that. We do have Epsom salts here at the farm for the greenhouse, but yeah, I'm surprised none of them just get in here and relax enough that they just lay an egg. Not quite wet enough. But yeah, that's the game plan for the next 10 years. Obviously, I started off by saying that my wife and I are planning on going to the States. So it'll eventually become my father-in-law's venture to some extent, as we spend a couple months in the States next year. But I think that's exactly what he needs in his life. He's been working more or less part-time work making 300 paces a day for too long. He needs to get himself into an operation where he's starting to make 1, 2, 3, 1,000 paces a day. Because if you had 1,000 pace a bird operation, there'd be no reason why you wouldn't be making 1,000 paces a day. So it's a lot more work than what we have here at 200 birds, but I think it'll almost become a full-time job at that point. And it'll definitely be a full-time wage. So yeah, that's the dreams for the channel. And then of course, the whole reason why we chose the name Future Farmers of Aklan is not one farm, it's all the farms to train young people to farm again. There's a lot of people here that think that there's no money in farming because multiple generations have tried to farm and never made much money. And it's mostly because the big corporations, like the one that sells us feed and the ones that produce the cages and things like that, they're the ones that are able to make the profits off of the farmers and leave the farmers with less and less profit. But the key is learning how to be self-sufficient with your farm so that you can keep all the profits in-house. And not only that, but help other farmers by developing products for other farmers. So the goal for the channel in total is to train young people to become farmers here in Aklan. So, but I know that that's going to take more than just a 10-year investment. It's going to be a generational investment. But as the channel raises awareness for the Philippines and gains a little bit of a following, we'll be able to make a lot bigger impact than what we currently can just doing our own farm. But yeah, follow our journey as we grow this farm to 5x within a year's time, and then 2x it for 10 years straight to prove that farming is profitable and a good thing to do. Because a lot of kids these days are just going to school and going to college to become doctors and lawyers, and it's kind of like that song, "Don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys." Well, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Trying to raise up a generation of cowboys. But yeah, we got too many IT professionals here in the province whenever what we need is not IT professionals, but some agriculturalists that know how to do ag the right way. So that's the goal of the channel. And I think that's about all we have good and positive to say today. Tune in later. We're going to do Bible study and have our daily Bible verse to read. So thank you for watching this portion of Washing Chickens here at Future Farmers of Aklan's farm. Bye now. God bless. Hey guys, just got done feeding here at the farm and counting yesterday's eggs. That's yesterday. For the first time, we're feeding a native feed to our brown laying chickens, Australorps, and this one's a brown laying bird as well. But they really enjoyed it. We're gonna go ahead and feed them again this afternoon with their native mixture of leaves and unprocessed grains. But yeah, we've fed these ones as well. They're all looking extra happy this morning, being that they got more vitamins and diverse feed than they had in the past couple weeks. But yeah, this is our egg laying operation. My dad's working in the greenhouse this morning, and I'll show you the broilers on our way out. We're gonna grab these eggs. Yeah, this is our hydroponic greenhouse. We grow hydroponic lettuce at this point in time. We have a little bit of mint getting ready for the harvest. But yeah, it's made with this UV plastic that helps the sun to come inside. And then we got all kinds of little chicks running around with their moms. I'm not sure where His mom is maybe over there pecking around. But these are our 45-day broiler chickens, and with our handsome bantams. The broilers have surpassed the weight of the bantams that they've been with. Came in there when they were chicks, and the bantams are probably really weirded out. How did they get bigger than them so fast? But yeah, we're gonna head to town to sell these eggs, and we'll bring you along. One of the best parts about running this YouTube channel is getting questions from subscribers that I have to answer. At some point we're going to do a Q&A, but for now I'll just answer them in long form videos. So one of the questions I got just the other day was, how did I meet my wife? Well, when I was 12 years old, my parents decided to come here to the Philippines to help build a school. We did that on the neighboring island of Boracay. Then we discovered this place here, which is called Future-Farmers-of-Aklan, on the mainland of Panay. Whenever we came here, we noticed that they had an indigenous tribe here. The original people of the Philippines are the Ati. Hello! That's some of them now saying hi. I'm kind of, I don't know, the only white guy that's in and out of here, other than my father, each and every day, so they enjoy my uniqueness, I guess. But they're real sweet. At any rate, the tribe here didn't have their own school, so we went ahead and built them a school on the hillside or whatever for the ministry we were working with. And then, fast forward 2 years, that's whenever I met my wife. She lives right behind the greenhouse there on the hillside. Yeah, we just happened to meet each other. My mom then had her for a tutor to teach her some of the local dialect, Visayan, and a little bit of Tagalog, the national dialect. But at any rate, we began our relationship as she was around me and I was around her. It wasn't until about 2 years after that, when I was 16 and she was 14, that we became interested in one another, which that was the start of our relationship.